what the heck? Hang on. Recap. Yesterday I tried to carve a rubber stamp. I was a little too complicated on the design. I ended up doing this one. It's okay. It's literally only my second rubber stamp I've ever done, or maybe my third or fourth. Like, it's only my second in recent years, or something like that. So here it is. Here's the original design. Here's how it come out. It's not bad. I think we can improve upon it. But also, I have these scraps this one's from this is the bottom of that. And then this one is just a scrap I found from another stamp either that someone did in the past. And I thought we could carve something on this. So I was thinking two things. One, it seemed like really hard to see what was on the stamp. So I thought I would just kind of give it some smudged. When you carved it, you couldn't see what was carved and what was uncarved. So I was thinking I would try that. And then the second thing is, I was thinking like you could do a balloon. I draw balloons a lot. Or like a fish head and bones. Let's do a fish and bones. I think that's pretty good. So I'm just going to draw it right on here. Let me zoom in a minute so everyone can see what's going on. Okay, so last time, the big problem with last time was I overpromised, and for myself, I thought I would be able to carve a lot more. So this time, I'm just going to simplify the design a bunch. And I think that'll get us good results. So I'll have the fish head, and I think we'll just do like a cartoon style fish bones. So I'll just go back with the I don't know if this is like ribs, but I always thought of as ribs. And then this bottom one will just be a tail. The tail will be all there, except we'll leave some, yeah. We can put some texture in the tail where we just like, let me erase this a little bit so we can draw on it again. Okay, so the tail will be, oh, Heathcliff, yeah. Ooh. The rubber really catches everything and holds it. Okay, the tail will be there, but it'll be all black, but we'll carve some just like texture lines into it. Okay. All right. I think this is good. I think we can do this one. Oh no. Where's my carving tools? Bum, bum, bum. Oh my gosh, I put it in here. Thank goodness I remembered. Trying to see what else is in there. Nothing good. Okay, let's give it a go. I think we're setting ourselves up for success. Yesterday, I over-designed it, right? I was like very hopeful. And I was doing it, I think even if I was a little bit more experienced, it would be a little much for something so like detailed to be on such a small piece. Like this guy, this is what we did yesterday. It's like, okay, I think we can do it again, same size, but just not try to get so much detail on the body and invert it. So the whole thing's black. And then you can carve out the texture. Because when we did that, you can see here, This is one we did that on. That looks pretty good. So it's possible we redo that one. So let's get this one started. So, oh, you know what I wanted to do? This is what I did last time, is let's take this like pointy one. I don't know what they're called. We'll take this pointy one because we can get some finer lines. And we'll go along the outline like that. Just to start, so we're not like, we're giving it like a channel to make sure if we carve something next to it, we're not accidentally like carving into it. It gives us like a little bit of a buffer almost. Okay, so the head and the tail are going to be black, even though they're not like they're not illustrated that way. They're not marked that way here. And it'll just be, and then everything else is actually black. Like if it's illustrated, it's okay. So the hardest part of this one is going to be like the line of the body and the ribs. So let me see what's a good way to do that? I think yeah, let's carve out maybe we need the smaller one for here. Okay, so with the rubber, I wasn't thinking about this yesterday, but with the rubber, you can kind of bend it. You don't have to be, it doesn't have to stay super flat. So I'm used to working in stencils, and with stencils, like for instance, if we carve just a circle here, and with stencils, everything has to be connected. And I find myself still thinking like, oh no, what if we break that connection? But it won't really do anything. It'll just leave a blank spot. Like it won't look good, but it's not going to break the whole stencil or the whole stamp. And it would break the whole stencil. Stencil work is fun. And I often found myself going like, oh man, I wish this was rubber stamps. It would be like easier. Eh, the grass is always greener. Okay. I think it's better, just like in woodworking, it's better to be a little bit on the outside and then work your way in. So there's this tool. I did not look up how this tool is meant to work. But I am curious. It's like a leaf blade almost. And I wonder. I wonder what we can do with that. Man, I'm going to try to readjust this light. I still feel like it's just, I can't. Okay. Hey, Ariana. I think you've been here before. Welcome back. I think I recognize you from another time. Okay. So we definitely cut here, but we're not seeing. If we just go like this, does that? Okay. Interesting. So I think these tools are made with linoleum in mind also. So they might be a little, they might not be like the absolute number one best for what we're doing. But, you know, gotta experiment. I do have another set, and actually, Oddfud swears by this set. I went through and I separated it out, like chisel and gouge. So this set has some pretty flat, that's like a flat rounded chisel. Same with that one. So these were wood carving tools. Yeah, that's a really flat gouge. Let's see how this goes. Oh man. Okay, I just want to be careful. I did overcut on the last one. I just want to be careful I don't accidentally cut off a piece that I'm wanting to keep, especially on something so relatively simple. I just want to get it right. I want to get a win. I do like this one. It's a nice, shallow, flat gouge, which I think has a lot of preciseness. That's not a good word. Precisity. What would a... Hey, haven't been here in a long time. It's better to hold it with your hand fully around it. Oh, thank you, Frog Official. Yeah. I think you might be talking about this one. I've heard people hold it like this, and I think that would make a lot of sense for like linoleum or even if it was wood. This is, the rubber feels pretty nice coming off like this, but I have heard that and forgot. So thank you for the reminder. Yeah, no, I think you're totally right. Um, I think that's exactly right. With like with what's it called? With the harder stuff, the linoleum, you really have to like, that's why they have this rounded so you can really get your hand on it. That's what I've read and seen. My friend who we grew up and she was always the artist. Um, she loves the linoleum. She hates the rubber stamp. She thinks it's too movie aroundy. It's too rubbery, I think is the word for that. I've now tried linoleum. I have a bigger block of linoleum that I thought I would give a go at some point, but I haven't tried it yet. I feel like I'm so interested why it feels like the lighting situation for carving rubber stamps is so much worse than it is for like drawing or something, because like that shouldn't be. It feels like they should be the same. Maybe the tool casts more of a shadow than the pencil. I mean, I was just looking, it definitely does. Oh no, thanks for stopping in. You have a good day too. And thanks for the advice. I'll always take advice, man. I'm not too proud. I say I'll always take advice. I will always hear advice. I will not always take advice. But it's always good to hear other people, like other people's experiences. I worked as a bowling alley mechanic, and there's a few other mechanics, and sometimes somebody would become like an expert at one chunk or the other. Like like I became the electronics expert of these machines, even though I wasn't very well versed in it, just because nobody else was good at it. I was the best at it. So like you're not necessarily an expert, you're the expert for that place. And even though you necessarily like even if you're the expert, you would still ask other people if you were having a problem. You would still ask other people like if they had any ideas. And it was pretty often that somebody looking at it from a different way or with knowledge of some other part of the system that you had not been thinking about. Oh, thank you so much, Yasmin. I'm just getting, I'm just learning. Okay, I'm going to try this now, this flat gouge. Yeah, I thought we would start with something simpler. I have another idea for another pretty simple one I thought we could do. Oh, I think I just cut it. Hmm. Uh, I used to draw this thing I really like. Yeah, it's a fish. Yeah, fish bones. I used to draw a like a speech bubble, like a really square speech bubble with a love heart in it or a thumbs up in it. And I thought we could draw one of those and carve that out. And I think it looks nice. It would be like usable in a notebook or something. And journaling. And I think it should be relatively easy for me to do. Okay, yeah. So there's going to be stuff that I learn better at. That I learn better at. There's going to be stuff that I'll get better at as I learn. But like it's really interesting. So I can get these bottom corners that are like a little bit more obtuse, but these tight corners, I'm having trouble with that. And what's interesting about that is that it makes sense that I'm having trouble with it. That is, it's a tight corner. That's something you usually have trouble with. What's interesting about it is it's a problem. Oh, hey, Desert Rain Frog, welcome. I didn't, but they're on my list. I am going to do lol. I was just talking about Bugs Bunny on the last stream. Uh, I'm going to buy those headphones. I just haven't had a shot yet, but I really appreciate it. Um, yeah, I talked to Oddfood. We decided to buy exactly those headphones. I'm pretty excited actually because my headphones are bad, and then I can use those for all the stuff I need them for. You know, or in other words, I will have headphones. Hey, Shiro, welcome, welcome. Okay. I'm getting better at carving a fish. I'm getting better at carving rubber stamps. It's 'cause I'm practicing and practicing makes you better. Okay. Ooh, okay, March 14th. Yeah, we will do, not today, but uh the next time I'm drawing, we'll and you're around, we'll add another character to that. I do have it. I have it somewhere. I didn't lose it. Oh, oh, come on, get off. All right. Yeah, and then if we're feeling good and everything's, I don't know how much time because it's a late stream I started today, but if we're feeling good and we have some energy and time after we do a couple of these bony fish or after this bonefish, um, yeah, it's like so the reason I thought of this is because I'm having trouble doing this medium, right? We did this rice cooker yesterday and it was okay, but it wasn't that good. So I thought I would start with something more simple. I bit off more than I could chew, and that's fine. It's good to be ambitious also. But it got me thinking, one of the earliest things I ever tried to draw, like as a very little kid watching cartoons, was this bony fish. I don't know what it is about this bony fish. I just thought it was so dang cool. Um, And I love the idea, like a cat or someone just puts it in their mouth and then it'll bump, 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 bump. That's Mr. Baffled and Fluffalope. Oh, okay, okay. The last two characters. All right, so how am I going to get these? Let me see if I can. Does this work? Kind of. So there's these inside corners. Actually, let me see if I can use a rubber stamp. I have this guy. Ooh, fishbone and blueberries. That's neat. Wait, what's a singlet? My brain. It's an article of clothing. What's a singlet, Hotfed? Oh, okay, okay. Right, right. Like a wrestling uniform. Okay, so this one worked great. I'm going to try to see if there's another one in here that'll work good for the corners. Or should I just use this guy? Hang on. I should probably just use this guy. Like, it's very, you don't get much of a bite, but that's okay. Oh, maybe I can use the slightly bigger corner one. Oh, yeah. I love using a router. I learned how to use a router last year, 2 years ago. I don't really have an area to do it because I live in an apartment. It's pretty loud. Um, but I have a router. I carved like a unicorn horn with it out of some driftwood. I really loved that. I I guess I have not done any like engraving, but that would be pretty cool to like carve stamps with wood. No, have fun studying or, do good. Bye. Okay. How you doing, unknown planet? Okay, I think I'm getting close. Let's bring this one in from Yeah, so what I do see why it could be annoying when you get to the edge, you can really like lose the support and make it hard to cut. Like see how this is still all there? I can't even cut that really. That's good. That's good. Oh, I don't think I could do that. But we could scan it in. You can get a copy of it. Okay. So definitely not as um, faithful to the line work as I would like. I'm still having trouble with the detail. There's this whole chunk here I haven't gotten out. I'm going to try to get it with just the razor. I'm going to go pretty thick, pretty deep, and then kind of pull it out like this. Yeah. Yeah, I do think it's, oh yeah, for sure. I'm using the razor. I think the knife is good. Oh, for wood, yeah, I have this wood carving set that I got actually to do rubber stamps, but I've wanted to use it on the wood. I think it would be really cool. It's such an ambitious project, so I don't think I will do it. But I think it would be really cool to carve um, a set of wood type or wood printing. Yeah, the router can be dangerous. I always wear my eye protection and am careful. Best not to be um, like flippant or foolish with it. I think we should try this. I think we still have this one here. Let me see if I can. Did I get it? Yeah, okay. So I know engineers use this. I've not seen rubber stampers use this, but I think they probably do because it makes so much sense. Um, Engineers use like bluing, and I think mechanics and stuff. Where do I know it from? Mechanics, actually. Um, to like say you needed to make something level, which is kind of like the opposite thing we're doing here. They would use I'm just trying to see what tool I want to use for this eye gouge. Bluing, and you basically paint some ink, it looks like ballpoint ink almost, onto the thing, and it makes the whole, oh, so this is a corner. You guys see that? Not really. Uh, and then as you plane it down or you router it or CNC it or whatever, you can see where it's going low. Okay, so here's like a circle. I thought maybe we come and just give it a little twist to get that shape. And you can see where it's actually been worn down because otherwise it just looks like metal and you can't see which is higher, which is lower, or anything like that. So I was thinking about doing something like that for this. Okay. I think let's give it a try. I might be fine. I might need a little bit more carving, but I'm not going to be able to tell until I give it a go. Let me carve the little feet, I mean little tail fins. So I've never used I've never chiseled like that. Um, I've only used electric tools and like blades and knives and stuff like that and wood. And like some other things, but mostly wood. I knew an artist who he did the whole thing. He would do these really beautiful, really delicate looking, but like mostly made out of big pine and stuff, wooden sculptures and benches and things like that. And I know he used a chisel for roughing things out. Um, this big old chisel. Okay, let's give this a look. I mean, a stamp. This is a frog, not a frog. This is the fish. Let's cut this butt off. Maybe we can use that for a tiny heart or something. Okay. I heard this is the most juiciest one. It has the most ink, so there's something people say you should prime them, but I don't really know rubber stamps very well, so. Oh yeah, jeez. Yeah, I'm sure you could. Did you sharpen it or just as an improvised chisel? You just used it to knock out some like kerf or whatever? Okay, not bad. I mean, good. I like it. Um, definitely cut some of these short. That's okay. I don't think it looks bad. We can maybe uh, smooth that out. Get rid of like this back here. We got this one. Yeah, so now we get to see where ink has caught. So we have some ink here. Let me hold this. Get rid of that. We have some ink here. I mean, for the edges, we should use the razor. So I'm going to just pull the high spots. And then I'll come back over with the edge, the X-Acto. We had one high spot right along here, right along the... There we go. Okay, so that was a new technique for me. I took the gouge. Let's do it on this tail part here. And I just ran it along the line, but it's only going halfway in. And then I run it kind of outside the line with no danger of cutting the tail all the way down. And it takes that whole chunk off. Well, it didn't this time, but that's the idea. Basically, you're doing one cut in two sweeps, so you have more control over the first run. I don't know, sweep, run. Ooh, favorite planet. Yeah. So the first planet I ever like studied in school was Neptune, but it's not that cool. I think Venus, I think, is so fascinating to me. It's like our sister planet, but it's had runaway greenhouse gas and like a bunch of really intense volcanic activity. And we've been there. We've sent probes there. I think what's the first planet we ever put a probe on? We have photos from the surface of Venus, and it just has like it has, whereas Mars doesn't have enough atmosphere, Venus has too much atmosphere. I just genuinely find it fascinating. Okay, I think I made that bone a little too. I was trying to get the squareness off of it. I think I went a little too far. But okay. That's right. That's right. There was a three part, but only the one, because they didn't know, right, what was causing the malfunction at first. I didn't know that until really recently. I knew the one probe, right, because I had seen the photos, I had looked that up. But I just recently watched like a mini documentary. You know, like there's all these mini documentaries on YouTube nowadays. I watched like a mini one on, I think it was actually on just the Soviet space program, but there was a big chunk dedicated to Venus. Oh no. Hope your nose feels better or, stops bleeding. Okay. I don't have my rolling pin. So, that's pretty good. I'll grab this front edge again. So I know that they were drilling. I don't know if they were drilling or if it was like a hammer system, but I know they were trying to get subsurface samples to analyze because, like, a lot of the times, even on Earth, you have. I should stop carving this one because it's done. That's. Let me. There's another couple of high spots. I'm just gonna really go try to clean up this outside. You have the surface radiation and stuff and the winds and all that can really alter like what's happening right at the surface compared to even just a few inches beneath or a few centimeters beneath. And so I know they were drilling to like get hopefully you know, to see what's down there really is because it might be significantly different. Okay, this was pretty rough, but I'm pretty happy with it. They had a lot of trouble when they first, was it Mars? I can't remember. Maybe this is me remembering the Venus. Oh yeah. Super fascinating to think what might be in our just under the crust. Because like we have a pretty good idea based on material sciences and physics, which like is kind of amazing that they can have such a good idea about what is there. I'm gonna try one of these flat ones. It's not something that I think I would use. I would think. But like, what if I just use this? Can I get something done with this? Interesting. This seems like one of those ones I would have to experiment with. All right. Not this one. This one's the butt. Oh yeah. It got outside of our solar bubble. Well, first they thought it was going to get outside of our solar bubble a little while ago. And then they were like, whoops, our solar bubble is bigger than we thought. And now it's outside the solar bubble for real. Or, we think maybe something will change. And they're like, holy moly. Okay. So should I sketch this here first? I guess, why not, right? What's the harm? Okay. So basically I was thinking we can round the edges. I wanted it to be a little bit more square. Let's square it up. So I was thinking I would do like a little speech bubble with a love heart inside of it. I have all the offcut rubber underneath my paper. I'm having trouble drawing. So I was just messing around with that idea. Some rounded edges or corners, I mean. We could actually use a square to make it square. And then like this. And then eternity space, a big black empty. Oh yeah. I feel like, okay, that's not a bad one. It would fit, but hang on, let me gain a little space here. I'm just gonna let me zoom out so you guys can know what's happening. What can you guys see? I can only see a little bit of the screen. Like I can only see a little bit of what you guys can see. There were men who went into the International Space Station. So Artemis, which is NASA, is talking about putting somebody on the moon again because I don't know. It's a thing they can do, or they used to be able to do, and they're like, I want to make sure I can still do it. It's like when you get old and you're like, I could still run a mile, and your doctor's like, can you though? And you're like, I'm going to run a marathon. That's what's happening right with NASA and the Artemis. Um, yeah, stars can be lethal you don't have to be close. Where am I going to put this? Oh, I'll put it in this mug. What do you do with rubber shavings? Okay, there we go. Let me grab a couple of paper. So this is how big we have. So that's okay. We can make sure it's smaller than that. Oop, sorry, I didn't mean to hit you there. So I thought Odd Fudd does journaling and stuff. So I thought we could do something that might work for that and have basically, like I said, a speech bubble with a love heart in it. Uh, yeah, so they did postpone the manned moon mission. I think they didn't postpone the mission. They said that that one was not going to be one that brought a human to the moon, but they're still going to do the mission. It's just going to be. Um, I just thought I would make this a little bit straighter. Uh, you know, the thing. It's just not going to be people. Sometimes I get a little particular about wanting things to be super straight. It's kind of silly. It's not hugely important, but I do feel that way sometimes, so I'm just going to give into it. Oh no. I think it sounds vaguely familiar in the concept, but I don't have a no, I have not heard about it. Is that? There we go. So we're constructing the rounded edge speech bubble instead of just drawing it. I used to love to construct this kind of stuff instead of drawing it. I like to draw things most of the time now. But yeah, the great attractor. I mean, we don't know. There's all that like dark matter, right? Which is like we have to have dark matter must exist because there are galaxies that have so much gravity, um, and that like more gravity than their matter would suggest. And so then we say, well, that must be dark matter. But we and like it works out with math. Like it theoretically exists, and experimentally it seems more and more like it's real, right? But it's not actually necessarily what's happening. Oh man, yeah, that's so crazy. Because sometimes we overlook something pretty straightforward in the math. Sometimes we are pretty sure something exists theoretically, and then we are yet to prove it, right? Like, or eventually we prove it, right? Like with black holes. Uh, but sometimes we think something is happening, and it turns out like to be a much stranger solution. Or like the more we look into it, right? Like with quantum physics, the more we look into it, especially to try to prove that it doesn't happen on a larger scale, because that was the idea. Like this can't be happening at scales that we can understand, otherwise we would notice. But every time they try to prove that it doesn't happen on a larger scale, they just end up proving that it is or is likely to be. No, for sure, for sure. The math, it's not that like the math that's happening is happening, right? But like with the rate of expansion of the universe, right? pretty simple to figure out. We got observations, we got the math, we can figure out what the rate of expansion of the universe is thanks to the Hubble telescope. Boom. We call it the Hubble constant, except when we got more precise tools, we started to see that those tools disagree. When we got like the what is it, the James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, that disagrees with the Hubble results. And so does, is it fence posting? Like, so there's two different numbers that both the math checks out on both for the expansion rate of the universe. And we don't know which one's which. Or, they are they both right? How could that even be? So it's stuff like that. It's like a fascinating, I love math and science. And I totally agree. Like math is real. I don't think, like some people think, well, some people don't understand. Like math isn't something made up to lie. Like you said, math doesn't lie. I don't think math lies. I think sometimes the answer is hiding in the math. Okay, this one's going to be hard. Again, I'm going to try to get these lines to stay pretty straight. This is all practice. Got to get better and better. Okay. So we can see, can you guys see that I can see that part? Which side up? We'll do this, I think. Okay, I can see it through the... Okay, did I? Nice. Okay. I think I want to try a different method because what we just didn't work, or what I just didn't work. So I think we have these. I'm wondering if I can use this, like just straight knife, to just come in and cut these lines, and then, I don't know, come in from an angle and, So curious, what's the best way to do this? I should have watched a YouTube video about it, but I didn't. Okay. That's pretty straight. Watch your fingies. Yeah, I think that's, like, I think we can definitely describe the universe using math. Okay. I can't see. I have to twist everything so I can see the line because just the light, for whatever reason. Like, I use this light all the time. I wonder if I can move it behind me. It's stuck. Okay. Because it works great for drawing. Okay, this is not behind me. This is like on top of me. Oh, how do I... Can I get this light, I mean the cord out of the shot? Okay. Okay, let's see if this works. Gosh, that was frustrating. Can you guys still see? Looks like it. Okay. It only helps a little. Hang on. I think light is an important. I'm still having to bend it basically the same amount, but I do think this is better. Okay. Okay. So now what I would do if I was using the razor is just come in at an angle. But I think instead I'm going to use this angled one. It's very square. A lot of the other ones are like much more closed off, and I'm going to come in at an angle with this one that I hope is just touching that same line. Nope. Come on, me. Nope. Okay. Let's just take this edge off. I'll zoom in a second. I forgot. Okay, hang on. This big flat gouge. I'll keep this out of my way so I don't catch myself on it. Okay. So we do the flat gouge. And then we have this line here we carved in. So what if now that we've gouged out, if we just kind of come in from the side. Does that? I don't know. It feels like it should just come off, but it's not. All right. Let's try with just the gouge. We tried all those fancies. Let's see if I just take the gouge and I run it along that exact same line. Oh, I got too deep. Yeah. Yeah, I love the idea. They tried to prove that the universe wasn't a 2D hologram. Because like you would think, oh, well, we would know because we live in 3D, but that's the whole point of a hologram is it doesn't understand it. It feels like it's 3D to the hologram. Which kind of blew my mind when I read about that. And then they were like, well, this is what we can do is we can figure out the maximum size of particle that would could exist, or maximum measurement that could exist if, did I zoom in? If we were a hologram. And then we can figure out if we can get smaller than that, like if there's anything smaller than that. And then if there is, we can like prove pretty definitively that we're not a hologram working the way at least that they thought the hologram would probably work. I haven't read the paper in like a decade, so I'm not 100%. They didn't find a particle smaller than the theoretical particle. So like we might need to build a better detector, or and it's not particle, right? Because the smallest particles are what, neutrinos or quarks. Another thing that is fascinating about like astrophysics as a whole is we will only ever be able to see as much of the universe as we can see, because of the speed of light. So like we used to not be able to see into the until the end, but now we can. We can see the cosmic microwave radiation background. Cosmic microwave background radiation. I can't remember which acronym it is. And like my favorite thing of that is, well, there's two things, right? Is it's far away because it's back in time, which I love. I love how things that are far away are back in time. I wonder if I could just, no, let's just do this. Oh, should have probably done that way, pointing away. Okay. I've been trying to be very careful and also like lead by a good example that I am not. I'm going to cut this corner off a little bit because I was digging too much in. I think that might be part of getting these lines, is I think I'm trying to come up to the line too early in the process. Ah, that one's going to be a little rocky. Because it's harder to push through if there's a lot of material there. And then the harder it is to push through, the less precise I'm able to be, because the less adjustments I'm able to make on the fly. So I'm kind of rushing in and trying to do the straight lines like right away. But I think in theory, I should be trying to do them towards the end. Like I should be approaching the line. So like carving out all this like waste in the middle, kind of indiscriminately. And then coming in and doing the more precise work. I'm already getting better at doing these rubber stamps. I'll finish this one off and then I should go. I think it's getting late. I'm trying to I love Resident Evil. Uh, it's just it came a right like I'm the right age. Like I was a teenager or like a preteen when one came out or whatever. And then four came out at just the right time in my life for me to play the crap out of it. So that's what I was thinking. That's what I had tried in other places with the razor. And I think maybe my razor, I have to get new blades. I have a pack of like 100 blades, but I cannot friggin' find them. So I've been hesitant to buy new blades. And I know we did rubber stamps on, I can't remember if it's Oddfud's channel, probably, where we carved CMonsterYK logo with on rubber stamps, and we each did one. And that's what I used. I used a razor and 90 degrees. And I thought it worked great. But when I've tried on this in the last couple of days, I was not getting good results. So I don't know. I'm using an old razor though. That I think might be the whole problem. Okay, carving out like that, doing that edge just now. I know it's not like fully to the actual line, but I've gotten pretty close. That was much, much better than what I've done with other methods. So it is working. Okay. Yeah, and you sort of have to take out working with the like the give of the rubber is also something interesting. So like the smaller shavings I can take out. They come off pretty easily without like getting pulled and sticking like some of the bigger ones do, just because of the material, the elasticity of it. I'm saying that now. I'm like really struggling to get that one off. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, that was like the two where you do like one line that's like nice and precise, but it doesn't actually take anything off. Then you come back with the gouge just rotated slightly, like to actually cut the whole thing off. Yeah, I think this is my best one so far, which makes sense. That's how practicing things work. I have a sharpener, which I didn't think I was going to have to use, but this one that I have not been using very much feels much sharper than the one I've been using a lot. So it might be one of those things that like, oh, thank you so much, Em. It might be one of those things that like dulls it even when you don't think it dulls it so much. I remember cutting stencils. You're just cutting paper. You're using razors to cut paper. But I would go through a bunch of razors because, okay, so now I am going to come in here with the knife and just try to cut like it's the line's cut, it's just attached underneath somewhere. And I worked with other people and they would not switch out their razors a lot. And I'd be like, you're saving cents. Like these razors are less than like we bought them in bulk, right? So they're not that expensive. And you're like, and also the boss paid for them a lot of the time, depending on the project, I guess. Um, and you're making your job harder. Gosh, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So it might be one of those things that dulls things faster than you would think it would. Okay. Okay. So we have this interior. We have the insides of these. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I wasn't really, it didn't occur to me to think, oh, I'm holding my breath, to think what material this actually was. But, because it's probably not actually rubber. Like, okay, I think this is the method for getting a nice crisp line. Carving the other stuff away first. Not trying to do it up front. And then coming in. Okay. I might have to stamp it. I did make a mistake here. I think that's the only big mistake I made right there. I cut the corner on this one a little bit. So those are the two mistakes, but that's better than the fish. I was making a lot of mistakes on the fish. Oh yeah, that was nice. And then let's come down this line here. Oh, and now we have this flap that's a nice straight line. I can't pull the flap back. Well, you guys can see it, right? The flap. And now if I come just under the flap, I just take that right off. Create the flap. Okay. So I'm trying to go really shallow here. So I can get something precise. I think if there's ever a time for cutting a wedge out, It's got to be here. Okay. I can't see, but I think this is working. Where? Why won't it pull out? Oh man, I'm gonna make this a mess. I'm gonna butcher it. Yeah. Come on. It's so funny. Things like get into shadow and then I like have no idea what's going on. It's because it's all the same color. Oh yeah. I know people do prefer linoleum. Is it linoleum? No. Um Actually, I think it is linoleum because it has a different surface color. And I have seen people talking about rubber where it's like two different rubbers and like this one's blue and then the rest is pink. So you're like, no, you've carved through when you see blue or whatever. All right. I say let's give this one a go. Let me just make sure there's nothing super obvious. I'll take that edge here. Ay, ay. Ah, I'm having a slipping. Oh, it's just. Oh, I can't get a nice smooth pull. I'm keep catching and slipping. Okay, that's something else I gotta look out for. I'm learning, I'm learning. Yo, why is that catching? Maybe it needs to be sharpened. I've not had this one catch at all and pull, but I just did a bunch. Okay. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I started with a harder one for sure. All right, let's give it a try. I don't think this black works. I can't. Sometimes I'm dumb. There we go. Oh, hang on. Yeah, let me. Where's the razor? I'm just gonna. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I was curious how deep that went. This guy. Okay. It smells very rubbery. Okay. It's all right. I do have some pretty straight lines, especially on the inside. But yeah, I'm getting that like pull, pull, pull from the gouge. Here's one of the better ones. Here's one's good. But this is where it was catching. This is where it was catching. These ones are okay. I still like it, but I still feel like my first one, where I just used a razor for most of it, worked out better. But I need new razor blades. I'll probably have to order some. Uh, it's frustrating, like I said, because I know I have 100 somewhere. But yeah, like here, I just cut this side with the razor. I'll do the same with this one. And pull that away. Let's do the whole heart with just the razor and see if I can get it nice and clean. Get there we go. I'll do the what is this? The cleft? I always think I would call it the butt. I'll do the butt of the heart after. Sorry, I'm turning it so I can see. Okay, that one, that cut was a little iffy. Okay. Yeah, dang, that last one. The last one I messed up on a while, but we'll do the inside, the butt, or whatever it's called. I mean, you guys can call it the butt if you want. I'll call it the indent. Oh, I bet you there's a mathematical name for it, right? Because this is a, what is it, a cardioid? All right. I don't know why. After all this, now I'm having more trouble. Where is it? Oh well. There it is. All right, let's try one more. Oof. Ouch. I I have dropped this and gotten it, like this far into my thigh. Um, I've had a different knife about a half an inch in. It sucked. It's like it's not it hurts right away for sure. I'm not trying to say it doesn't hurt right away. But what I remember most from the experience is actually the dull aching from the next few weeks. Okay. Yeah. I redid the heart. This is the side that I was having trouble on, the second part. But this is the part that I did boom, boom, boom. Much cleaner. So maybe I'll do a combination of the techniques where I do the first technique and I hog out a lot of the material. And then I come in with the razor at the end. And I do a bunch of, like, basically I cut a really thick stencil. Yeah, part of it is too, is like I said, I cut stencils um, as a job for a while. And I have a lot of experience manning this dang razor blade. Yeah, I agree. I don't think, like, I don't remember. I mean, I didn't go as deep as you, but I don't remember it hurting that bad until the healing process. I didn't have that much blood come out on either of mine. Yeah, it's the ache, man. That's what I remember from it. Like, oh my God. It just, like, I can still feel it. I know exactly where it happened in my leg. This would have been years and years ago, but I can still feel that ache in my leg. Sucks. I watched my brother, older brother, I watched him just nail his hand with an X-Acto. Actually, it wasn't an X-Acto knife. It was a box cutter. One of those big utility knife box cutters. He was carving just some dumb piece of wood. He wanted it to look like a mushroom. I say dumb piece of wood. Now it's a dumb piece of wood. If he had done it, maybe it would have been this beautiful thing. Yeah, geez. You know, I never even thought of that when I did mine. I don't think mine was that close to the femoral. Um, Mine was kind of right above, like, if this is the leg, if my head is here and I'm looking down at my legs and then, feet or whatever, these are my knees. Mine was right, I'm feeling it. Oh, yeah, right here. Ooh. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that where, like, I've been scared of it or I've always thought it must be terrible. And then it happens and I'm like, oh, this is kind of fine. And it's not great, but it's kind of fine. Like, I stepped on a nail. That sucked, but it was kind of fine. Um, I got stuck underwater once and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get back up. And I took a big breath of water. That sucked, but it was kind of fine. I was like, oh, it's not as bad as I thought it would be. One time I choked, something like went down my windpipe and blocked my airway. And I was like, it was scary, but it wasn't like bad. I don't know. It's an interesting thing having those types of experiences. Oh, dang. Yeah. Yeah, sucked. Yeah, it's funny. Like you said, it's the ache, man. That's what I still think about that sometimes. I think like this is pretty good. I think Oddfud will use it. Um, Maybe I'll try a new one. I have a rice cooker that I tried yesterday. I'm not gonna do more tonight, but maybe I'll try Maybe I'll try one of those. Maybe I'll do one like when I'm watching TV or something instead of streaming. Especially with stuff I'm still learning. So I think sometimes it's hard uh, to think and talk while streaming. It's funny how that stuff, like, I hadn't broken a bone for a long time, and that was great. But I was like, it kind of felt like I should have broken a bone. And then the bone I broke was in my hand. It was this bone right here. And like somewhere right in here. And like, it wasn't big, it wasn't dramatic. I was making a joke about that Sara Lee commercial where they like bang their fists on the table and chant Sara Lee, which maybe it was old when I first saw it. It was like I think it was like my mom and her siblings used to see it on TV. So they used to make the joke and then I made the joke. Oh yeah, sure thing. So he was carving what ended up being a mushroom and he was using the box cutter like this. And he went and it slipped and it cut open his thumb muscle. Just looked like an eyeball opening. Pop. Terrible, terrible. He's fine. Oh my God. And then he got a splinter in his eye. So, what a crazy day. Yeah, we brought him to the hospital. He turned out to be okay. But it was funny because we were just talking about how you can't carve towards yourself. Like, so I was in Boy Scouts and he was not. He could have been. He wouldn't have carved open his hand. And so I was saying like, "Oh, don't carve that way, dummy." Just in a nice way. I wasn't trying to be mean. And then almost as if to prove me right, he cut open his dang thumb. What a muscle to cut open on your hand though. Seriously, like and then that it just like popped open. He had to wear well, he had to have stitches, like huge stitches in for a long time. Which I guess makes sense if your muscle rips. But they said he was lucky. He had just replaced the blade. And they said it was really lucky because if it had been less sharp, it could have been a much more serious injury. Which I think makes a lot of sense. They say, like, it's much better to have a clean cut than a tear. I always learned that a dull knife is more dangerous than a sharp knife. Where, like, not only are you more likely to hurt yourself with a dull knife because you'll try to power through something that the knife's not actually able to do, or it'll slip and you'll end up like, it'll catch and then it'll slip and it'll cut you. But also, an injury from a dull knife is much worse than an injury from a sharp knife. Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah. I never did that. I mean, I did not track marks, but I'm there. I was there. I was doing stuff like that. I was also a very sad child. And I thought it was a failure on my part, but as I've gotten older and I've gotten healthier, I understand like it was like I had good reason to be really sad. Um, I have better coping mechanisms now. I mean, your art is definitely one of them. Okay, I'm getting this much smoother all around. We should do. I was gonna log off like a while ago, but let's do one more stamp. I think it's improved. Yeah, I still have some scars. I'm lucky. I don't think a lot of mine turned out to be not that permanent, or you know, I'm pretty old, so a lot of them have just faded to the point where you can't see them anymore, even though. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, look at that. You can really see the improvement around the heart. It's almost, you have like a smooth curve here, almost a smooth curve there. I do think this one was better. I could have left that side alone. Um, yeah, it's not huge, but it's definitely improvement. This curve, I think, is better here. A lot of this is sharper also, which I wonder if that's, yeah. Okay. Third time's the charm. Well, this was the third time. We'll do another one soon. But the next one, the next stream is scheduled for Saturday. And I think it has to be a drawing stream. But I might sneak another drawing stream in sometime before that. I got a lot of drawing to do. All right, good night. Good night, Unknown Planet. Hope you're feeling good today. Hope you had fun. We were a little morbid, but not in a bad way. Hope your leg doesn't ache like mine does right now. Oh, we did this guy. We did this guy. Not bad. I think they both kind of lend themselves to this choppy kind of vibe anyway, so it's kind of nice. And I'll keep practicing. I think this could be, I like it. I think it's fun. I have two, but oh, they're both. I didn't see this one. I'm blind. Okay. Oh man. Oh, awesome. No work. That's great. Yep. Good night. Oh yeah. Let me actually stop. Bye.